Alright, humans. So here's the plan for today. I have this course platform that I built a couple months ago and it's working great. It's based on Gatsby, uses the JAMStack, uses Auth0 with useAuth for authentication and all of that stuff. But what it needs, what more it needs is granular role-based permissions. So I want to be able to sell multiple tiers of this video course or of other video courses so that when you log in, I know who you are, which I already do when you log in. So you log in, you go to Auth0, you come back and it logs you in. But the problem is, so I want to add support to useAuth to be able to make that better and more based on roles. So it's easy to check, okay, this page shouldn't be accessed by this person should be shown an upsell or stuff like that. So we'll see how that goes. I need to first check how I even have it implemented so far. And we're going to open the useAuth library. And I think that there's a lot of commonalities in other people how they would want to use this. So yeah, I'm kind of ranting, blurbling. I'm just like talking and seeing what comes out because it helps me think. That's one of the good things about App. I have here somewhere, we have useAuth, and I think I added a function somewhere that talks about roles. Where did I use that? So we have unauthenticated pages, and if that includes the current location, we let you through. And I also have something that doesn't require authentication. All of that is okay. Is authorized. That looks like the function I need. Okay, so we have an is authorized function that I built that just checks whether the user roles include whatever you need. So let's move that to code, and then I'm going to go into the useAuth library, which should be in random coding somewhere. Right here. useAuth, open that project, and let's open the terminal for that project as well. Documents, random coding, useAuth, git status. Let's see if there's anything new on code on master. Actually, no, I'm gonna make a new branch. Get checkout -b, support roles. Okay, so we are going to support roles. And that is gonna have to happen in useAuth somewhere. So useAuth will return a function that is going to tell us where it currently has a particular role. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see, how are roles implemented in Auth0? Because I think I had to hack something in the Auth0 configuration to get that working. React course. Everyone, please close your eyes so I'm not leaking people's information. Create new hook. No, there was rules. There was a rule I had to add. Add roles. So you need to add this code. Dayan Kamali, yes, Auth0 is free for, I think, up to your first 7,000 users or something like that. So I've been using it for free for a while now, and I have no plans of starting to pay. Hopefully by the time you have 7,000 users, paying is not a problem. Okay, so, serverless React Dev, that's the metadata. Okay. So we are gonna need to make this work. I don't need this. This is going to be for save changes. This is gonna have to go into the README instructions. Now let's open useAuth, and here where we have is authenticated, we can. So what we need to do is check whether the user has a particular role. And Enrique is asking if I'm still using Emacs keybinds. You know, I don't know. I think I did initially enable the Emacs key bindings, but now I'm not really sure how many of those I'm still using. So I'm kind of using a mishmash between old Emacs key bindings and VS Code. but honestly, it's been so long since I switched that I don't really remember anymore. So let's see, we're going to add a test for this because I'm writing tests these days. So we have describe useAuth, describe logout, describe handle authentication is authenticated. We're going to model, I'm scrolling up and down too fast. So we're going to model this test based on is authenticated because it's kind of similar, and we should say has role. We're going to mock the, what's our mock? How do I use, okay, here we has role, return that, and we're going to say it returns false if role does not exist. So this should be, this might actually turn out to be pretty simple. So we are rendering the, I have a helper for rendering this stuff. Where is the helper? And basically, we just need to make sure that context is in the right state. Excuse me. Actually, let's do is authorized. Is authorized is going to be easier. So is authorized return data. So how are we going to get, how do we get the user into our context? Where I'm messing that up. So we have state user, and the user is then gonna have, what's the shape of this? The shape is, yes. So down here, where are we? Is authorized. We're going to set the context state, or if role exists, so we say context state user, and we are going to invent a namespace. Let's say https localhost.com, that's our namespace, slash user metadata dot roles, right? Yes, dot roles equals, and let's add a test role with that. Context state user, yes, it's saying that that doesn't exist, so we need to make it exist. Element implicitly has an any type, blah. And then we render that, and in our mock, we go for is authorized. So we are expecting is authorized of, okay, so we now have a test for the basic role-based permissions. Now we gotta go check about types. So what is this type complaining about? It's saying that the state auth context state doesn't support that. So we gotta go update the auth context state. Where is it? Is it in types? In text. Auth context state. Here, where is our user? Auth 0 web auth user. Auth 0 user profile. Auth 0 user profile, which comes from auth 0. Aha, but we're gonna have to app metadata, user metadata. No, so it should be in user metadata. Then why do I have to read it this way here? Okay, we're gonna play around with that. So let's see if we can use it directly in user metadata instead. So where am I? Is authorized, where are you? User metadata.roles does not exist on type auth 0 user profile. Okay, we're gonna have to look into that. Why does that not exist? Auth 0 user profile, which totally has user metadata. So why is my TypeScript saying that this doesn't exist? Because user is of type auth 0 user profile, and then so it's it doesn't exist on my or type, which is, so where do I change that? Or sub with a string. Why is that there? Let's also say or user metadata any. Cool, so that should now be happy, right? We'll see if it's happy. So that should be, I think that's going to be happy now. Let's look for is authorized. Oh, and now it's saying that useAuth doesn't return is authorized because, again, you know, TypeScript. So if we look for what does useAuth return, it needs to return is authorized useAuth interface, which needs to have all of this stuff, and then it needs to return is authorized, which is a function that accepts a string. So we go yarn test useAuth, and let's see if let's see what happens. Okay, so tests are supposedly running now. Come on. Okay. So it looks like summer has actually started because usually there's more people online on Sundays, but I'm inside now. Hey. Return anything? Oh, there we go. It returned stuff. Not sure why I didn't skip auth reducer. Now, why is authorized is missing on type blah blah blah. Okay then. What do I need to do to make it not be missing? Is authorized is declared here. I'm returning it from my interface. Cool. So go into useAuth. Yes, it's saying that this now doesn't match the interface, right? Yep. So I need to return is authorized and do authorized, which is a thing that accepts a string role, and it's going to return the current user. So where are we? Return state.user, right? Because yep, return state.user metadata and state.user metadata.roles includes. Is it includes or contains? Includes. Dot includes be enough to give me role-based permissions. So now let's try yarn test useAuth again. I don't know why am I adding that, because it's not filtering anyway. So it's running all of the tests. Let's see. Is it working? Please work. No? Yes? Cannot set property roles of undefined. Interesting. So it is complaining that my test is bad. So we're gonna go back to useAuth. How do I actually filter this? Do I have to do it this way? Okay, I'll try that. UseAuth. So we need to set user metadata to be equal to an object that has roles and an array of roles. Okay, let's try that. So that's now going to render tsx. Okay, so filtering works if you do a dash dash. Let's see. Wow, my computer is really struggling today. It's kind of hot here in San Francisco. Ooh, what failed? Oh, no, it didn't fail, it's just a console error. Perfect. Git status, git commit -m, add is authorized method, git commit -a -amend, fuck, add is authorized method to check for user roles. Okay, so we've got, oh, hey, buffer editor, how are you doing today? I'm not coding on a, say, test role does not exist. False then. Why does my upload keep dropping like that? Can you see it on the stream? Like I lag every couple of minutes or seconds? Because my upload keeps going from 3 megs per second down to almost 0 and then back up. And it's really annoying me. Got that. Now we should probably make it so that you can also use just is authorized and it automatically, okay. So that's annoying that my upload is doing. See, now it's out again. I've been having this problem for a while and I honestly think it's just Comcast being weird. So this works. Now let's also make sure that it returns false if you're currently not authenticated, because being authorized means that you're also authenticated, so you have to be both. Let's do it to take this mock, but we're going to set the expires at as in the past, like that. Where are you? Bam. And this needs to be false. So I'm gonna run tests again, and this is going to fail. And I guess that's the benefit of having written all of these tests for the library, is that I can now add features relatively much easier than I used to, which is great. Cool. So it failed the test. Now I auth and add that it also, the user also needs to be authenticated. So we first check that the user is authenticated, then we check everything else. Yarn test. And the reason we do that is because checking for authentication is first. At least that's how I think about it. Okay, so now I'm going to, perfect, so that passed. Git status, git commit -a-m, and we say authorized only when also to deploy, push a new pre version and then test it on my serverless React course, just to see that the basics work, because I know that I already have support for this on serverless React. And if that doesn't work, then we're going to go and figure out why it doesn't work. And I'm gonna do what? I need my phone for this. Buffer, what time zone are you in? And Christos, the keyboard is a, yeah, it's this keyboard. If you can see that, sorry. So, it's kind of hard to aim. So this keyboard is a truly ergonomic, and they're currently releasing a new version, which I've been waiting for a couple of months because their production stalled due to Corona and Chinese factories being shut down and stuff like that. But it's a really good keyboard. I've been using these for 8 years now, something like that. Build pre-version, and we say npm version pre, is this going to be pre-minor? Yeah, this is going to be a pre-minor. So npm version updated the thing, then we say npm publish, and I'm going to get my phone for the two-factor authentication. Authy, did I get it? Did I get it in time? I think I did. All right, so we published 070-0. I'm gonna go into serverless React dev and install it. So yarn add useAuth add 070-0, published, install that. Then I'm going to remove an unexpected error occurred. useAuth not found. Oh, because it's called React useAuth. React useAuth. Keychron K2. I haven't used that one yet. What's it like? Is that also ergonomic, or is it just mechanical and awesome? That's installing. Let's see. Come on, computer, do it. All right, so the computer did the thing. I think these are their cherry MX brown switches, which is the perfect switch if you ask me. Although apparently And to be honest, my 8-year-old keyboard actually did start dying and getting chatter in the switches. So maybe they're right. Hey, DMFJ_IO, how are you doing today? So we're gonna now remove, I'm gonna comment this out and look for all uses of isAuthOrized. Git grep isAuthOrized, and I'm gonna change them with the version that we just built into useAuth. Doing it here, useAuthOrized is going to be as student. Come on, as student, that's the one we currently have, and we're not using isAuthOrized from utils. But we do need to get isAuthOrized from useAuth. So isAuthOrized, like that. Okay, so now and we no longer need to check that the user is authenticated because isAuthOrized is doing that for us, which simplifies this. If allow unauth or isAuthOrized, then we show them the content, and this part is kind of complicated. Buffer, you're right. I really need to make a site for these streams, but generally I try to be online every Sunday around this time, and then sometimes I do it randomly through the week as well. So let's see, yarn start, and we'll see if this works. If it doesn't work, we get to start debugging and having some fun. Oh, nice. Okay, so yeah, this one doesn't do Bluetooth. This keyboard is just, it uses a tail, which is fine by me. Nickel keyboard would be pretty nice. All right, create pages statefully. This is running, so far so good, but we'll see if it actually works as well. Oh, my neck is sore today. Okay, start no matching provider. Oh, I need to stop using Gatsby remark. Oh, I'm so long. Yeah, so I use my keyboards plugged into my monitor actually. So when I switch my computer, it doesn't, I'm just switching the cable that goes into my monitor. So I don't really care about the keyboard itself being Bluetooth. Honestly, probably because it's connected to the monitor, this makes it easier to switch all of my peripheries to a new machine than it would with a personal laptop. So switching those around, imagine having to switch your mouse with the heat dissipation today. Yeah, it's pretty warm. Oh well. Kraken keyboard, that sounds cool. Okay, nice. It should load eventually. Do I still have the bug? No. So now when I click lessons, I'm already logged in, but it's saying that I am not authorized. Cool. So it's not working. Come on, computer, you got this. Why are you so slow? What's taking up all the CPU? Poor computer. Okay, I can kill Notion for now. I need everything else. Oh, nice. OBS is using 700% of my CPU. That sounds like a lot. Okay, so wherever the data was coming through is not actually coming through. So now I'm going to do something kind of dirty, and I'm gonna npm link it instead. Let's do yarn link, and then yarn dev to run microbundle in the background at all times. Then we say yarn link react use auth. So I'm gonna use a linked version so we don't have to keep publishing. And then I'm gonna run yarn start again. I'm gonna try to pronounce those Chinese characters, but part of the reason processing power. But that's why I bought a top of the line laptop. So I'm gonna go here, and when we're doing isAuthOrized, I'm gonna console log the current state user so that we can potentially see what's going on. Let's do it like this: user state user. So that's when I change it here, it recompiles with microbundle. Yeah, buffer, if you're, I think there's less lag on the messages if you go on Twitch or YouTube. I don't know why Periscope has both poor quality and stuff. Yeah, okay, maybe the problem is that actually 1440 at 60 Hertz, that is exactly what my monitor is, so it shouldn't be using that much processing power. Oh well. So I'm running Gatsby again so that I can use it against the linked version. That way I can mess with the code and see it directly here where I'm using it, and then check what's going on and use some console log debugging. Let's see. I mean, how hard can this be, right? And especially the part that I really want to solve is to make this relatively universal so that I can use it. So not just that I want people to be able to go to one address or to one URL, basically to one place and go and then ask. That's annoying. Okay, so it's not gonna work with link. What did I do? It's not gonna let me work with linking. So we're gonna do one better. Let's do yarn unlink for yarn unlink react use auth yarn install ---- force. So I need to reinstall the package now, and then I'm gonna go directly into Node library so you know how to navigate around and where to put those console logs. I just needed to actually reinstall. So it's gonna reinstall. Then we're gonna go into command open serverless react dev. We look for node modules. Okay, scrolling up and down is starting to be kind of dodgy. Const is sleeping, return yes. Nice. And you find out I'm actually really bad at the alphabet. Come on, Lodash. There we go, react use auth. We are trying to look for dist, and we need use auth types. I think it's index.js, the one. I think that's the one that's getting imported so that it unminifies. Oh, prettier, come on, turn yourself on, prettier. Prettier crashed. Nice. Okay. That's gonna be annoying. So editing directly in node modules is also a fail, which means we have to do this console log. Let's do yarn build. So this is gonna make development super tedious, but hopefully it's going to be a quick way to figure out what exactly auth0 is sending back to us, where this data goes, and then we can go from there. Come on, computer. Okay, come on. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go into package.json, update this version file, debugging. Yeah, let's just call it debugging, and do npm publish. I need auth again. 365 key. I sure hope that once I use the token, it immediately stops being useful for anybody else. So then I say yarn add react use auth add 0701, then restart Gatsby, which is the is busy. But yeah, I wonder why it's not able to load the library when it's linked instead of being installed properly. I think it's something with Webpack and the modern MJS stuff. So this is now starting. It's gonna take a little while. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to keep talking about, because This part is just slow. Maybe one of you guys can tell me a story. Okay, add inferred. Imagine if I was takes 30 minutes to build. I should figure something out about that. I kind of got stuck in the middle of migrating my blog and then never pushed it through, which is really terrible. What my upload keeps doing. It keeps dropping to very low and then picking back up again. I need to figure out how to get a wired connection up here. But yeah, I'm on a different floor than the what's it called? The port for Comcast that comes from make a normal connection without putting wires all over our apartment. Come on. It keeps saying it's doing like 1 page per second, so it takes way long. Come on, computer. Yeah, I really want to do a wired connection Metadata. It's just that I don't know how to do it so it looks nice and it's not just wires hanging all over. For a new girlfriend. I like that, Robot Clock. That's a good recommendation. Did you hear that, my love?
No.
People are saying I should get a new girlfriend because you won't let me put wires across our apartment so I have more reliable internet. So the roles are, let's see if I can change the rule here and maybe that's gonna make it work. If I do
Alexa, how much time?
what if I do it like this? So I'm gonna comment this out and now the problem is that here on auth 0 I am actually messing directly with production. Dot notation, save changes, fully updated. So now if out here, application, useAuth user, I'm gonna reload the page. It's gonna tell me I need to log in. So now there's no user, now there is, and the user doesn't have metadata. Interesting. Why doesn't the user have metadata? So strange. Show up. Actually, you know what? I'm silly. I can do both, and this way I'm not breaking production at least. So sub whatever. So I now have the serverless React Dev user metadata. Okay, with roles. So it is gonna, which means, what if we don't use HTTPS in the namespace? Let's try that. So I'm doing this copy pasting so that I'm not breaking production, and this way and make it work. So let's do namespace 2 plus user metadata. So I'm trying to find the smallest amount of data or property that I can use to make this work so that it's easier for other people to integrate. Let's see. Okay, will it come through now? Because I'm not really sure how the namespace that has the auth provider, what are the properties we're getting? The callback domain could be the domain. What's the auth 0 domain then? Auth 0 audience domain. The auth 0 domain. Callback domain, audience domain. I think the audience domain could be what I need here. That seems like the right namespace to use, right? So let's try that. Am I putting that into state somewhere? We have, let's add the audience domain audience domain into state. So then we go into auth context state and we add the audience domain as a string. What are you doing down there?
Bird.
So audience domain, callback domain. Okay. Oi, can you not use auth? So then here we're gonna check state.audience domain like that. So we're gonna have a state domain / user metadata like that. So if that exists, then we are getting the roles out of it. And now I'm going to yarn build this again and publish it again and see if that makes it work. So actually, let's also console log this string so that we can make sure we're doing the right thing. Console log key is blah, yarn build, and then go into package JSON, and we're going to make a new pre-release version. Come on, 070 minus. And we deploy this, or well, we publish it to npm. So yarn build is going to my computer locking itself due to heat, and it's complaining about something, right? So it's complaining. What is it complaining about? Argument of type blah is not assignable to parameter auth context state. Why not? Context state has the audience domain, right? So now in auth provider, here we have the audience domain. Wrong here. Start authenticating. This is happening on auth provider line 42. Aha. So where we're creating the context, the audience domain is undefined. Wait, get default. So our audience domain is gonna start as, let's say by default it's called localhost. Like that. And then here where I'm reading it, it doesn't come from state, it comes from context. Audience domain, and we use it down here because it's not actually part of state, it is actually just part of the context. Cool. And now this is complaining that user doesn't have stuff. So now the problem is that officially the auth0 user profile doesn't have this stuff. See, because it's saying to get a bunch of I wonder how they're doing this officially, but I don't really know or care. So I'm gonna need to, here where we say, where do we have the type for auth state, auth0 user profile, it needs to add a, how do I expand a type in TypeScript? TypeScript, expand type. Aha, we can use an intersection. Cool. So we're going to use this. So it's gonna have the auth0 user profile with an end. Like this. Okay. Adds. Have to ask for all that user data in the scope param passed to the auth service. That actually might be true. I'm gonna try that as well, but I know that this approach works, so I'm gonna try it. Adds adds metadata support for Auth0 rules, and let's see, where am I providing the scope? So where am I doing scope stuff? It's a weird name, weird thing to name your child, Robot Glock build. So we're gonna try to build this again, see if it works, and then you might be right that the problem is just that I'm not asking for user metadata in the scope. Somehow that never occurred to me. Okay. Please run next command, blah, blah, blah. Let's see if it works. Building takes forever. And then we're gonna have to publish to npm. Then if it builds, we publish to npm. Then we install it in the test project. Or I mean, it's not really a test project; it's a real project. Then we run that, and then we see if it works, or at least get more information. There we go. So npm publish. I use Authy to get my code. Bam. Okay, and then we say yarn add 070 -2. Stretch. I hope you guys are stretching when you work for a while. Sitting is really bad for you. Me, who's a personal trainer, for some reason really focused on stretching in particular. Okay. Come on, you can install it faster. Wow, it's also getting really hot in here. Okay, so that's installed. I can now run Dart, get the project running with the new version of the library, and then we'll see if it does what we need it to do. And hope amazing. Okay, create pages statefully. Wow, it's been almost an hour. See, this is what I meant. It's like, oh, this is super easy. I can just do it. I can just bang it out, and then suddenly it's an hour later because something weird went wrong. Happens every time. Okay. Okay, come on, you can do this. You can do it, computer. Okay, starting, almost done. I wonder why it takes so long to start. Also, this is a really interesting check for, you can actually see my entire terminal. It's literally checking that the icon I'm using is not square, which is pretty cool. I wonder how they check that. Wow. Okay, yarn, come on. You got this, computer. Oh, come on. More matching providers and remark embed stuff. Okay, there we go. It's almost done. Now it's still saying 0 pages. There we go, 33 pages. Now let's see if this works. Okay, so it's still not working. Come on. Can you please, computer, let me click on things? Aha. Okay. So it is saying what? So use the wrong namespace. Okay, let's see. Auth 0 scope user metadata. What is the scope we actually need? Okay, yeah, so the official stuff is all namespace something. Okay, so that's metadata. See, maybe there is actually a scope that will let me do this. There are 3 types of data typically stored. User metadata stores user attributes such as preferences do not impact blah. If you build a form for them. So that's the user metadata. In the above example, within a rule or via a call to the management, you've okay. So how do I get this as a part of a scope? Use metadata in rules, blah, read metadata. Update, read. Okay, so it's saying that I should be able to just get this as part of the user metadata in the user profile. So user, where is it? Handle auth result. State user, so handle authentication, start authenticating, parsing the hash, auth result, handle auth result, which does what? Sets the session gets user info. So is there a, and then it gets the user profile, which should have user metadata, which should be there, but it's not there. Now, why isn't it there? And it's saying if I add this stuff to my user metadata, like here, and it should be getting true, but it's not. Update and similar, yeah. User metadata. Okay, so it should have that. Client metadata. Why isn't user profile coming through? That's my question. Auth 0 user profile doesn't include user metadata. Why doesn't it? Is there a scope I need? Come on. Scope. With the scope, current user metadata stores user attributes such as preferences that do not impact blah. Let's go for Melveta asks how long I've been a developer. It's been, so I'm 32. I started like 21 years, something like that. It's been a while. Okay, now let's see, where is the scopes? There we go, article scopes. Can you please tell me what are all of the scopes that exist? Yeah. Thank you. OpenID profile. Let's see, what are the scopes I'm asking for by default? Come on. API scopes, maybe that's going to be useful. I just want to know how to... Come on. Profile email, yes. How do I get the damn metadata? Aha. User selected, and we saved it as part of the user's user metadata. Neither the nor user metadata properties are present because OpenID does not define standard claims that represent favorite color. To receive the custom data, create a rule to customize the token with namespace custom claims that represent the properties from the user profile. Custom data will be available in the token after all rules have run. So we are gonna have to use the namespace shit after all. Yeah. Okay. How do we get the namespace into our configuration or into our context? Let's see. We're gonna need to go back to useAuth, and here instead of audience domain, I think we're gonna have to use a new one. So I'm gonna take away audience domain because it's not gonna be part of the context anymore. Audience domain goes away. Come on, audience domain, auth context state type is no longer gonna have the audience domain. It's gonna have what should we call this? What's a good name for this particular namespace, which needs to be a URL? Namespace, or is it property namespace? Yeah, David Wells, we have that part. So I have that part. The part that I don't have is making it easy for other people to use this and to tell the library which namespace to use. But I'm now trying to come up with a good name for that. To 2 kilobytes. Why does it keep doing that? Okay, so I'm gonna call this a yeah, let's call it a custom property namespace. That makes sense. Custom property namespace, which is a string, and then we're gonna auth provider like this, custom namespace. When we are creating the auth provider, yeah. So we render the auth provider with a custom property namespace. Auth provider interface needs to also support this. Wow. Which is a string. Then we go into package.json, auth provider. So we put it in the context. Am I already putting it into context? I am. So we put this thing into context. Do we actually? Yes. So custom property namespace, and then in useAuth, Command Shift T, we get it out of the context, and we use it down here for custom like that. Is that you don't always have window, because this needs to work in Gatsby and things like that. So, you know, we don't have that. It's not safe to rely on window, I think. So here I also then need to update how this for my tests. So we're gonna say context, come on, context dot custom property namespace equals HTTPS localhost, like that. Oh, I can actually move this custom property. What the fuck just happened? Custom property namespace localhost. Okay, save, good. Go down here, where was I? Test role, and we need to change it like this. Localhost / user metadata. Bam. Bam. Where else? Needs to be changed up here as well. Okay, so the tests are fixed. I can yarn test just to make sure the tests pass before I publish this again. Go into package.json and change this to 3. Okay, tests pass. I know it looks weird because it prints a console error as part of a successful test. Properly namespace metadata. Back to my Authy so that I can get the code 388.419. Cool. So that's doing the thing, I hope. Do that, then we run the Gatsby code again and hopefully have a working thing. Need to update the README for and publish a new version of the library. And that's going to be how you can use useAuth for role-based permissions. Come on. Yarn start, come on, start. So all the caffeine kicked in from this little thing, and now I am extremely antsy every time that my computer is slow, which is not great. Ow. Actually go into my Gatsby browser and my Gatsby. No, see, I was already passing in a scope for user metadata that isn't fully working. And we're going to say custom property namespace equals HTTPS serverless react.dev. Okay. And now this is gonna have to rebuild everything. Let's just go back from the scratch. So this is now gonna get the correct config into the useAuth machinery, and then it's going to work. That's the plan. Wow. I wonder why my stream keeps doing that. Oh, come on, computer. Okay. Okay, come on. Why are you slow, computer? Okay, almost there. And it still takes forever to actually start my Gatsby project so I can see what's going on. I'm also getting really hungry here. Okay, come on. Is this where normal streamers would use like flying emojis and AR stuff and things like that? Maybe I should start doing that. spice up the waiting periods a little bit. Key. Am I moving again? No. I need to... Now I'm moving again. So all of that is great. What I need to do now is remove the console log and, you know, add some documentation for this stuff. So I'm gonna go here and where am I console logging? Console log goes away, no longer needed. And we go into the README, which is still all of the documentation. Okay, so what do we need? How to use useAuth, and what else do we have? Tips and tricks, persisting login after refresh, users access tokens. What else? Okay, let's add granular role-based permissions. Since version 0.7.0, useAuth supports role-based permissions. You have to add some config on the auth0 side, and you have to add some config. So let's see. First make sure that user metadata contains using roles you can granularly control which parts of your site are available to which users. You need to add some config on auth0 and when using useAuth. Add, so we say 1. Set up a auth0 rule. Auth0 rules are little snippets of JavaScript that run at particular times in the user lifecycle. So what do we need? We need to add a rule. What is this a special rule? Let's see. When you create a rule, what do we need? It's a enrich profile. Go to rules and click create rule. Start an empty rule and add this code. JavaScript. Let run when you request user data. Okay, so that's close enough. We add this stuff. The namespace needs to be some domain. This rule adds user roles to their metadata. You have to define domain. Ensure your you have to define the namespace. Make sure it looks like her when rendering your auth provider. Wow, I can like feel my computer being slow to type with right now, which is kind of frustrating. So when rendering your auth provider, add the custom property namespace. Make sure it matches the namespace you used above. So like this. Ah. Come on. Script. So we said your domain, okay. Bam. Use is authorized to check role permissions. Now when you want to see if the user, when you want to check if the user should have access to some part of your site, you can use is authorized to check if the current user has access. So in the layout, for fuck's sake. Authorized. So if current user is authenticated and has the student role, show the content. Otherwise, no. Okay, so that's how you do role-based granular permissions for Jamstack sites. It's now gonna, and actual implementation is left as an exercise for the reader. And we yarn build, and then I merge to master, I guess. Yarn build, come on. Okay, how did that take an hour and a half? I think it's because my computer got slow. Okay, come on. You can, this computer. Come on, one last thing. We're just trying to build and publish. Come on, computer. You got this. You can do it. I just want to publish the version. Come on, support the tag. So that this gives us release notes. Fix bug in setting blah. Add support for checking user roles with is authorized. Bam. Git push origin master -- tag, so that we get the nice release notes on and the change log on the GitHub homepage. And we npm publish. Let's see. And that's going to be it for today. Thanks everyone for watching. New version of React useAuth is out, and I don't know, how do people usually announce these things?